You're listening to the Icandemy Podcast, the podcast for people who can but don't know how. This is where you get actionable steps to turn vague dreams into blissful realities. And I'm your host, Omoshola Victoria Wolabi. So let's get started. Do you ever think to yourself, I want to be able to impact lives, leave an imprint in this world, but you feel isolated, stuck, unclear on how to show up or get started? If you've answered yes to this question, I want to extend a very special invitation to you to join us on our upcoming workshop, the Courageous Confidence Workshop. This workshop is live, where we get to work together on that call so that you can crack the confidence code, awaken your inner giant, show up authentically, and attract your tribe. Head on over to offers.icandemy.org/courageous. Again, it's offers.icandemy.org/courageous. You'll find the links in the show notes below. Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the Icandemy Podcast. And today's episode is quite an interesting one because I've got a lovely guest today. And we're going to be having a conversation about something that is near and dear to my heart, which is living a life up to your dreams. I'm super excited to have this guest because one, she loves all things mindset growth like I do. Two, she's Italian. How cool is that? Thank you so much for joining me today, Luana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I recently watched the movie Money Heist, and I was hooked on that song, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao. And when I Googled it, I realized that the song was actually a protest music from like way back in Italy. Do you know anything about that song at all?
Well, I know it's like so famous in Italy, but I don't remember why it was, because I know for sure my grandparents know about the protests and everything, but I cannot recall it now. But it's a song that everybody, like, it's a lot in movies and everybody knows. When I talk about Italy, they know about this song, and sometimes they sing it, and or there is another one I don't remember now. But yeah, it's very famous.
I loved it so much. I had to go and Google the song. Thank you so much for joining me once again, Luana. So just tell me a bit about you. And obviously the name of the show is the Icandemy Podcast. So basically it is a podcast for people who can but don't know how. So tell me a bit about yourself and what you can do.
Yeah, sure. So, well, I'm Italian, as you said, but I have been traveling since 10 years now. So I don't live in Italy at the moment. I'm in Mallorca, Spain. And I'm the creator of A Life Up to Your Dreams, which is for me a mission to, so similar to yours, to really help people to believe in what they can do, believe in their dreams, and then create what I call it a life up to your dreams. That for me really is a life where you choose what you want to do, a life that it's authentic and it's true to you. So from that, I really start my mission with a podcast and with a book as well. And I mean, try to inspire as many people as possible to believe in that and really go for the life up to their dreams. So I think that what I can do, it's really to be that voice for people to, first of all, believe, because sometimes we don't believe that our dreams can be possible. We just see them as dreams and then we leave them. In Italy, we say in the bedside drawer. So we leave them and we never open it. Just, it's there, but we never open that drawer. And then to really like take steps and help people to really create that life up to their dreams. That it's just not just like you have a dream and then the next day becomes possible, but it's a journey. It's a journey inward to inside yourself of transformation that then will help you to really be confident and create a life up to your dreams. And it's not a destination, because your life up to your dreams, it can be something today, and then in 10 years will be completely different. But for me, when you believe that you're living in a life up to your dreams, it really means that you believe in yourself, you can do anything you set your mind into, and you continue like that every day of your life.
Right. Lovely. I love that. And
Mhm.
A Life Up to Your Dreams is also the title of your book. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I was looking at the name, at first I thought that statement was grammatically incorrect in English. I know
Yeah,
you're
it
Italian,
is.
obviously, but then I heard the story behind why you settled for that name. Do you want to share that
Mhm.
with me? How did you get to that name?
Of course, of course. Yeah, I know. And I'm an English tutor as well. So I know that sometimes people are like, this doesn't sound true grammatically. But
Yeah.
actually, it is an Italian song translated into English. There is this Italian singer, very, very famous in Italy, and it's called Luciano Ligabue. And he wrote this song that really spoke to me since I was a teenager, that it's really like, I can create a life up to my dreams. This is what the main quote that I have tattooed on my body as well to remind myself every day. And it really means like to create a life that is true for you, a life that I said before, authentic. So this song, it's always been my mantra, my motto since I was like 16 years old, to really inspire me. So when I was thinking about the title of a book, I was like, that needs to be the song
Title.
and the title.
Yeah.
And I know I was debating because I knew it was not correct grammatically and everything. But then I was like, this is a book in English, so I have to have an English title, otherwise an Italian title will not make sense. And so when I decided, I said, okay, that sounds good to me. Sounds really sounds a little bit like me, like I'm Italian, but I love English. So I kind of mix them together. So that's how I came up with the title and how I created this mission.
Yeah, it may not be grammatically correct, but it does make a lot of sense because when I think about it, living a life up to your dreams, sometimes our dreams are way bigger than the life that
Mm-hmm.
we actually live. And the message is you're trying to tell people that they can actually live up to the dream that they see in their mind, right? Because a lot of us
Yeah.
have these big dreams, but we live small lives, right? So if you looking at it now, it makes a whole lot of sense living a life up to your dreams. Can you live up to the vision that you see for yourself? I love it. Thinking about it now, it makes a whole lot of sense. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Now you had this idea, and I was listening to your story earlier on, and you had this idea for obviously you had this pull in your heart that there was more, and you said it was when you had a visit to the seaside
Yeah.
one day. That was the trigger for you to say, no, there is more to life, and I'm going to live that life. And obviously, when you left, you had to jump through some hoops, and you even became a kids entertainer in Switzerland at some point.
Yes.
There was nothing near the sea that pulled you away from home.
No.
I wanted to share with us the journey, right? The journey
Yeah.
towards that acceptance. Like, okay, now you had this idea for you wanting to help people live or see that the possibility of living a life up to their dreams, obviously influenced by the song that you heard as a
Yeah.
teenager. What was the journey like getting to this point?
Yeah, good question, because I grew up in a small town in Italy, so I have to start from back there. And when I was there, I always felt like I was out of place, like a fish out of the water. I was not like the same as my schoolmates or my friend that they just were looking to finish high school and find a university not far from the hometown, and then like come back, get a good job and start a family, etc. I've always like wanted something different from everybody. And I grew up in a family where my parents are farmers, so we didn't really travel a lot. And sometimes they tell me, I don't know where you come out from, because my parents, like my mom left Italy just a couple of years ago when I brought her on a trip to visit my sister that lives in England. My dad never left Italy. Well, Switzerland, but it's like the next region, like the next country up. So they never left really their
Right.
comfort zone in a way. So they always tell me how you could like go. And
Yeah.
but I always had this desire inside of me that there was something better outside of my hometown, that the world was like magical place and I wanted to go and explore. And when I got the chance to go the first time, and you were mentioning to the seaside, because living in like Bergamo, it's like the mountains, so we don't have the seaside close. Then one friend of mine invited me to go to holiday in the seaside, and when I get there, I saw like, when you see the sea, I think it's like this vast, like immense, like water. So even if it was just the sea, it's not the ocean, still it felt like, okay, I'm free, like I'm
Mm.
free. And there is so much more out there that I want to explore. And these people in the resort where I was living, they were entertainers. So it means that they were doing activities with the kids, with the adults, and this kind of job can allow you to travel to different places and be by the seaside mainly. And so when I saw that, I was like, I'm gonna do this job so I can I can get out of my small town and I can
Yeah.
travel around the world, because different companies have different locations.
Right.
And then when I was in the last year of high school, I was studying languages and I loved French. So I found this company that was like for entertainer, and it was a very well-known company, because the ones in Italy, they were really paying you like 300 euros per month, which is
Mm.
nothing for like 24 hours work. Instead, this French company was more like luxurious. So they were having a better salary, better accommodation. So I just went for the application, for the job interview. And then, well, my first like job, as you mentioned, it was in the in the mountains in Switzerland. But I know it was like the right path for me to follow, because thanks to that opportunity in Switzerland, where I could like really learn how to do this job and improve my French, because obviously my French was not like that good at the time. That
Yeah.
led me to many other opportunities. In fact, the season after, I went for a beautiful like 7 month season in the south of Italy in a beautiful resort. And that made me come like closer to the seaside. And then I went to Tunisia. So it's like that, like mountains, even if it was not what I envisioned, that dream really led me to start and create a life up to my dreams. And that was the first pull. And that was actually like 10 years ago. So there is
Right.
there is a long journey in 10 years. But to like make the story short, after that, I kept following my dream, even if sometimes it was hard, because your parents coming from such a small town, never have left the country. They didn't really like understand or even
I know.
oppose
Tell me
why.
about it.
Yeah. Why do you want to go far
Yeah.
away when there is, for them, there was everything they needed there, but
Mm.
that was not the case for me. So it was so hard like to navigate this controversy with my family. And then, but I always kept the dreams inside of me and had this vision, and I couldn't really like go and settle for anything less. And I've always been like as well very brave and bold since I was younger. So I said to myself, I have to follow my dreams. And I went to all over to the United States, which is
Nice.
a big leap, because from a small town
Yeah.
to New York City
Yeah.
was
Yeah. Now you're really a
definitely,
fish out of water.
yeah. Yeah, but actually, like, to be honest, when I set my foot in like JFK, when I came out of the plane, I never felt like so at home. And I never visit like the United States. But I always tell me, like, I actually like I learned recently about astrocartography, which they tell you like the best places to live based on your astrology chart and everything. And the
Nice.
US is on the best place where I can live near Texas. So I wonder now why I this pull all the time to go to the United States, and why I felt so at home there. So yeah, then from there I moved back to Europe, and I always think like living my dream, because I always have a vision, and I always try to go for the vision that I have. And my dreams change every year or every 6 months. Like they always change and they're always evolving. But what I'm trying to do is really live up to my dreams. Really, don't get scared if they are too scary, but go forward and pursue them.
Yeah,
Basically.
I love it. Yeah. You did say something just now. You said you're constantly evolving, you're growing and making sure you're always living up to your dream. There are some scary decisions that we have to make in order for us to actually live up to the dreams that we have for ourselves. I know for me, there are some decisions that I've had to make along the way, which obviously, like you, my parents did not agree with. People thought I was crazy. Even me moving to New Zealand was like, wait, what are you doing? I remember being on my way here, and my best friend was still texting me, like, what are you doing? That country is prone to earthquakes. Like, do you really want to go live there? So we do have that. But what was the pivotal moment? Like, what was that moment when you decided, you know what? I'm done doing all these other jobs. Yes, they have brought me up to this point. They have blessed me. They have, opened doors for me. But this is the point where I really want to go all in, because I know you're a published author, right? You have a book, and that would have taken you some time to writing the book is not a piece of cake. You literally have to sit down and, research and draw all of those experiences through. What was that point? What was the trigger that made you say, you know what, this is the life that I want and I'm really going to go get it?
Yeah. So, well, to circle back a little bit, when I came back from the US, I started to work again as a child, as an entertainer in general, first with child and then with adults in Spain. Right. And then it's where I went up and I climbed the ladder of this like career. And around 2019, I was really at the top of my career. I was the chief entertainer, so I was managing my own team. And that was something that I've always dreamt when I first left Italy, to become chief entertainer in a resort. But when I actually got to the top, I felt so burnout, so unfulfilled, because everything that I've always wanted was not like how I imagined. So I was not like feeling that because I was attaching my like happiness and my feeling of worthiness and satisfaction to that like job title or that role. And when I got there, I was not happy at all. So I think the pivotal moment was between 2019, when I really at the peak of my career, and I was offered another job. In a way, I knew I didn't need to take it, but on another way, I was like, that was my comfort zone. So I was too afraid to leave that. So I took it, and December 2019, I started again as a like chief entertainer role. But I was like 1 month into the job, like when all the excitement on the first month left, I was feeling again so unfulfilled. And by the end of like 2019, I was like, I cannot do this job anymore. I was not feeling good. I started to listen to a podcast that really helped me. And I was listening. And then in February 2020, before like I didn't even know like COVID was the thing, I quit my job.
Wow.
And I give my notice. And then obviously COVID happened. So I was supposed to end my career at the end of March, but then we got stopped in the 15th of March. But that was a pivotal moment, because I knew I had to quit the job, and then I had nothing to do, because obviously we were all laid off. We were all like dismissed from the job because the hotels were all closed. So 2020 for me actually came as a blessing to stop, because I was so burnt out and I needed to stop and reflect on what was important, what was the next step for me. And I really, like the first week, I was like, everybody's scared and don't know what's going to happen. But then I tried to lean into this moment, and I was like, I never had a moment in my life like where I stopped and like have a break and don't make any decision and just like go inward and learn about myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. For all the lockdown, I signed up to a program that I really wanted to do, but I never had the time. And I started learning about different things that I wanted to learn. And I had the desire to write my book since I was in the US. I went to creative writing like programs all the time, but I never had the time or like the courage to stop and write it. So first take a journey inward, and then at the end of 2020, I set the intention that the January 2021 I will write the book, and that's where I really did it. I like really did it step by step, like learning more about how to write a book, how to like really publish, because self-publishing, it's a process as well.
Yeah.
So I really like took this time off that I had from COVID to really learn and then really set a action plan for myself to write the book and then publish it, and to change my life completely. Because when I left the career as a chief entertainer, it's been a journey. Entrepreneurship, it's not it's not that
tell me about it.
You know,
it's not a walk in the park.
easy. And yeah, exactly, it's not a walk in the park, but it was the best decision for me, and yeah, that led me here. And I feel like even if I'm in uncertainty most of the time, but I feel more like calm and happy than I have ever been. So
yeah, that's so true. And I can so resonate with your story. Okay, family, let's face it. We've all felt pain. We've suffered the losses. You know what it's like to want something so bad, but not see a path to its accomplishment. The question, however, is, do you know how to pick yourself up and move on despite what has happened? This is what I share with you inside of my new book, Good Medicine for the Crushed Spirit, a practical guide to helping you find purpose when adversity strikes. Inside this book, you will find personal stories, relatable biblical tales, and anecdotes that prove you are never alone in your despair. I will inspire you to turn pain, discomfort, disappointment, or setbacks into something positive that works for you. So if you're ready to change your life in meaningful and purposeful ways, get your copy of this book today and let the transformation begin. How long did it take you to write the book from when you started?
Not long, because I had it like flowing. Like I think I read the book, my friends were like, you are crazy, in 30 days.
Wow.
Because I think I had it inside of me for so long.
Burning, yeah.
When I did like the mind map for the book, I knew everything that I want to write. And then I just went and it flowed.
Wow.
It flowed every morning. I set my time to write and it flowed very easily.
Wow.
And yeah,
I think that is just the universe agreeing with you. You know, I heard this saying that when you really want to do something and you say yes to it, the universe expands to give you room, right? To actually do that thing. I also published my first book at the end of last year, but it did not take me 30 days. It took me like 2 years. To actually get that done. So that's kudos to you. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So what, obviously you just mentioned now that entrepreneurship is not a walk in the park.
No.
I agree, because I'm also not an entrepreneur. It comes with a lot of challenges, right? So what has been your biggest challenge and how have you handled that so far, overcome that?
Yeah, I think my biggest challenge is like to connect and trust and listen to my intuition, because that was not the thing that I was brought up like with. So I always like wanted to follow what everybody else was doing. Like recently I wanted to create a program, but when I sit down with my intuition to try to do that, I realized that it was something that I didn't want to do. It was not for me, but I was trying to convince myself that's the way, the next step forward, like for entrepreneurship, for the like field that I'm in. But actually what I want to do, it's more like circles and live things with people, because I'm a people person. I've been an entertainer for so many years for a reason, and I love to be surrounded by people. So I think like to really find what works for me, not like follow what other people tell me to do. And think my working really with my inner critic and judgment is something that I'm really working on all the time. Because when you are in a corporate, then you have to follow certain steps and other people tell you to do. But when you are on your own, then it's you that are making the decisions. So sometimes I just needed to follow my intuition, like take some time for myself before making the decision, really connect with my intuition, connect to the universe, really feel into like what's best, what decision is best for me. So I think that's challenging, and I'm trying to like really lean more into the intuition. Recently, I had to make a decision as well for my next like step of my life, and to like really let go and surrender to the universe. It's something that it takes time, but I think it's like the way forward for me and my biggest challenge, but as well my biggest learning too.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you. Wow. I'm surprised you said that, because I had to make a decision recently to move away from, I'm a coach and obviously we do programs, but I had to remodel that because the traditional way was not sitting in alignment with me. The way, they said, you have to do this, you have to create this program and do it this way and do that. I wasn't in alignment. And like you, for so long, I was following what other people were doing. Yeah. So I had to take a pause myself and then look, like just reflect back and say, what do I enjoy doing? That doesn't feel like I'm giving myself another job, right? There's a reason why we start jobs in the first place, So I had to actually look at myself the way I am. And what I'm doing now, I really enjoy doing way more than I enjoy doing the whole hustle of, go online, market and this and that and that. But I had to now decide, what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it differently. Yeah. And that was how I had to remodel my whole business, basically, because it has to be something that we really enjoy, because we are in service to people. It's not supposed to feel like a job. So thank you so much for sharing that. Obviously, you have a lot of experience leading up to this point. Can you share 5 actionable steps for someone who, like you said, has put their dreams on the bed, inside the bedside drawer, right? And just, focused on something else that doesn't spark the life in them, right? Do you have 5 actionable steps that you can share with someone like that who has this dream? Maybe like you, they are, brought up in a different way that has nothing to do with the dream that they see. And they're maybe a bit scared. What would people say? Or maybe they just don't know how to get started, right? So what are 5 things you would share with them on how to get started with that dream?
Yeah, that's a good question, because it's super important. And I met so many people traveling the world, even from different backgrounds and different cultures, that we all want to live the life up to our dreams, but sometimes we are scared or we don't have the support as well. And so we like stay in our quote unquote comfort zone and we leave that dream inside the bedside table, as I say. So the first step will be for sure to take the dream out of the bedside table.
Yes.
Like literally, that's what I say in the book as well, to re-spark the dream and feel into it, because we have so many dreams that we have put aside from like our childhood up to the point that we are in our life that we want to change. So at that point, we need to really open and see the dreams and feel into them and really get clear on which one we want to pursue. And then, as I call it, like re-spark that dream. So that will be definitely the first step. And the second step, definitely, it will be to ask for help, because I've seen it like on my own. When I started to like re-spark the dream, a lot of things came up, a lot of limiting beliefs, emotions, and trauma from the past. So it's super important to ask for help, to find the person or the group or the support that you really need, because it's like an intense journey. Growth is like not a linear path. So the second will be definitely to ask for help. And then I have these steps as well in my book, like where the third one will be to really do the inner works once you ask for help, like really go deeper into all the limiting beliefs that might arise, all the fears, all like even for me, one thing that was super important was the inner child healing work, because we have this child inside of us, everybody has it, but then we become adults and we don't care, don't feel this part of ourselves anymore until we reach a point that this inner child is screaming inside of us. So it's super important to like do this work, to do the inner work in whichever form like works for you. There are so many modalities out there right now. Just follow your intuition and see what works for you. But if you want really to go to the life up to your dreams, you need to go inward first. It's a first an inner journey. And then when you are like, you're feeling better inside yourself, then you can move forward into like really create your steps. And thanks to that inner journey, then the first step that I will say is to really create habits that then support you in every single day of your life. Like for me, my self-care rituals are super important. And I know that without these like habits that I have, this like self-care ritual, I will not be able to like stick to my plan and to create and live a life up to my dreams. It's super important that you have these habits because they make you feel in control as well. They make you feel confident. They don't overwhelm you. And I always say, like, you need to take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
Especially if you are in a business like us, that we want to serve others. So if we don't fill our cup first, then we will not be able to help and be at service to others. So that's super important. And last but not least, the like number 5 will be to create an action plan. Right. Because as anything, like a dream, it's like a goal as well, or intentional, we want to call it. So some dreams might scare us so much because they are so big, and that's something that obviously happens to everybody. But if we create an action plan where we have like steps, I like to like really create like a step, like a stairs. So you have every step from the bottom to the top, like you have every like little step that you're going to take. They can be 5, they can be 10, they can be even 20, like as many as steps as it takes, and really take that action plan one step at a time. So it's not overwhelming and you feel like comfortable as well at first, and then a little bit challenging, but one step at a time will really be able then to create the life up to your dreams that you want. And then leave it and don't be in fear that it's gonna change or it's gonna like go back to wherever you came, because every step is really leading you forward in what's meant for you. So even if sometimes it feels like you take a step back, actually it's just like, I love the analogy of the arrow, like that when you have to pull the arrow backwards, so like make it go forward.
Further.
So that's the thing for us. Sometimes we might fall one step back, it feels like that, but actually it will help us to go even further. So in action plan, I think it's super important.
I love that. I really love that. Do you want to share some of the habits or the self-care rituals that you do that help you stay consistent in this journey?
Yes, of course. For me, rituals are important before starting anything or before going to bed. I need like to take that time for myself. And I actually posted an episode on the podcast as well this week about self-care, because it looks different to everybody. So what I really suggest is to find, first of all, the time that you have, because I'm single, I don't have a family, so my routine will be so completely different from somebody that has a family or a very demanding like corporate job. So I always say, like, define the time that you can give to yourself. In the morning, in the evening, can be both, or it can be just in the morning. Like in the morning, it's better because if you start your day like really taking care of yourself, as I said before, then you will be able to give to others like what's best of you instead of what's left of you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's super important. I will say, first of all, define the time that you can do that. It can be from 5 till 1 hour. For me, I have this flexibility. So I take 1 hour and a half, 2 hours in the morning where nobody like is around me. I don't have a phone and I just do practice. It's like, for me, what really works is meditation,
Right.
because I can really like go inward and lean and create this relationship with the universe that it was so challenging for me at first. And as well because I have a super active mind, so so meditation really helps. And if you're new to meditation, I would suggest you like really to start with guided visualization, because obviously everybody, maybe they say, I'm not going to meditate, I cannot sit for an hour doing like nothing. That's the like stereotype of meditation. But I think like you can just even sit 5 minutes. There are so many like guided meditation and apps out there that you can use, but that really helps you to like be present in the moment. Or meditation or some kind of mindfulness, like which is that you focus on the moment, can be breath work, can be journaling, can be like staring at the sky if there's something you like, or go out and watch the sunrise. But really focus on the moment. Start the day slow with these mindfulness practices. Maybe do some, for me, I need to do some movement, which really helps me as well to be more in my body. And for me, it's yoga. It's a perfect like kind of self-care practice, but maybe for others will be running or cardio or whatever it works for you. And give that time to yourself, like even take a cup of coffee or tea where you don't watch like your phone, you just sit there and like with yourself, watch outside, or just like give that time to yourself. Can be from 5 minutes to as much time as you have, but it's important to like start your day with these like self-care practices, so you don't go already into the world and like feel disorientated as well. Because before I always done that, I wake up last minute and then went to work, and I was still in the process of waking up, and people could not talk me for 1 hour because I always been like not like good
in the
with
mood.
morning, not in a good mood. But when I started instead to give some time to myself in the morning, it changed everything really for me, because I feel like good with myself, I feel recharged, and then I can start my day serving other people and don't come from like what's left for me or that morning mood that I didn't like, but I can like really be present with people.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. I tried meditation and I have a super active mind. It was very hard for me to do, but I got an app called Headspace. For a while, it helped. But for me, I didn't like the idea that I still had my phone with me. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to sit still for 2 minutes. You don't have to just, sometimes we rush into these things by saying, I'm just going to do it for 30 minutes meditation. No, start small. It could be a minute, like what you're saying. It could be 2 minutes, and then gradually you grow from there. So that was how I started. Gradually, 2 minutes, I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to sit still for 2 minutes, and I'll set the timer and I'll sit still. And when it goes up, I sat still for 2 minutes, and then the next day, 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes. So just give yourself that grace to start small. Thank you so much, Luana. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you. You shared a lot of helpful tips, getting clear, resparking that dream, asking for help, getting the support, doing the inner work, that inner child healing. I recently had a dream that I saw like my dad. It wasn't my dad per se, but it was like a father figure in the dream. And I woke up in the morning crying, and I didn't know why. My dad died when I was 13 years old. My goodness, I'm over 30 now. And I'm thinking to myself, why do I feel so emotional? Because those memories came flooding back like, my dad died at a very early age. I had to live without him for so long. And then I realized I was not actually healed yet. We carry a lot of trauma from our childhood and we don't even know. And it was from there, I let myself cry for the whole day. I was okay with it because it was a release. And I didn't know I felt this way still. For goodness sake, it's been over 20 plus years now. I thought I was over it, but I wasn't, right? So I
No.
love when you say that inner child healing is very important. I agree with you on that one so much. You also
Yeah,
shared to
it's
create habits, which you've
mhm.
shared, self-care rituals, and then an action plan. Yes, because without a plan, nothing is going to happen, basically. So thank you. Thank you so much. Obviously, you have shared so much, and some people will be curious to say, who is this lady? I want more. Where can people find you?
Yeah, sure. So they can find me on Instagram. It's the best platform to find me at A Life Up to Your Dreams. And you can go there, and that's where I post things and I publish episode of the podcast. Obviously, on my podcast, it's another way where you can learn more. And now I'm starting to do episodes where I call on experts on different topics, like we told today about self-care or inner child. So if you want to know more, definitely go there. My podcast is same. I have the same name for everything, which is easier,
Which
like
is
A Life
easy.
Up to
Yeah,
Your
I love
Dreams.
it.
So you can find me on Instagram at A Life Up to Your Dreams, on Facebook, on my podcast. And if you really need a little extra help, you can start with my book. That will be the perfect way to start. And you can find it on Amazon worldwide. Again, A Life Up to Your Dreams. And then send me a message on Instagram. I'm gonna launch very soon a women's circle where I will help even further to respark these dreams and help people to create their action plan. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Lovely. Thank you so much. And I will be including the link to her book in the show notes, the link to her Instagram page as well, and a link to her podcast so you can go listen because she has a lot more to share where this came from. So thank you so much, Luana. I said Liana, sorry. I'm trying to pronounce it
No
in the English
problem.
way. It's Luana. Thank you so much, Luana. I really enjoyed our conversation today. I love your heart. I see the passion shine through that you have for what you do. So yeah, I really appreciate you so much, and you will do very well. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for your kind words and for having me here. It was a pleasure.
Lovely. I appreciate it. Thank you. This episode is sponsored by our very own Mogul Mindset Training. Are you ready to embrace new experiences, see opportunities where you thought there was none, and totally surprise yourself? Because you can by unleashing the power of your mind. Mogul Mindset System is a 5-step system that helps you retrain your mind to work with you and not against you, so you can awaken your inner giant, 10x your impact, your income, and become truly unstoppable. The truth is, you, my friend, have a superpower, your creative genius, and I'm here to make that power multiply manyfold so you can get past fear, self-doubt, and finally start working and thriving in your life and business. Ready to unleash your superpowers? I thought you would. Head over to mogul.icandemy.org. That's mogul.icandemy.org to learn more. So there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And for more content like this, follow us on our social media handles. On Facebook, it's at Icandemy, the Facebook page. On Instagram, it's at Icandemy. Or come say hello over on my personal page. On Instagram, it's at Omoshola Speaks. On Facebook, it's Victoria Wolabi. Feel free to reach out, introduce yourself, say hello. I love meeting you. And if you have any stories that you feel will inspire another woman to action, I want to hear from you. I really do. I love hearing from you. Send me an email to hello@icandemy.org. So it's hello@icandemy.org.